Gallstones, you've probably heard of them. They're super common, especially in places like North India. But here's the crazy part. You could have them right now and not even feel a thing. So in this explainer, we're going to break it all down. We'll get into what to eat and, just as importantly, what to steer clear of to keep your gallbladder happy. Ready? Let's dive in.
All right, check this out. Get ready for this number. A massive 80%. Yeah, 80% of people who have gallstones have absolutely zero symptoms. We call them silent stones, which means, a lot of us could be walking around with them right now, totally clueless.
So that begs the question, right? If they're so often silent, what can you actually do to protect yourself? Well, this is where your diet comes in as your absolute best defense. Seriously, what you eat is so crucial, not just if you already have gallstones, but to stop them from ever forming in the first place. Now, for that other 20%, the ones who do get symptoms, it's not some gentle tap on the shoulder. It's a full-blown gallstone attack. And believe me, it is intense. It often hits you out of nowhere, usually at night. We're talking about this sharp, severe pain right under your ribs on the right side. Sometimes it even shoots up to your back or your shoulder, and you might feel super nauseous. It can be so bad, people sometimes think they're having a heart attack. It's that serious.
Okay, so to figure out how to prevent something so painful, we gotta go to the source of the problem, right? And that's the gallbladder itself. Let's talk about this little organ. It's kind of pear-shaped and it's tucked right under your liver. You might not think about it much, but its job in digestion is a really big deal.
So here's the lowdown on what it does. Your liver is constantly making this digestive juice called bile. Think of the gallbladder as its little storage sidekick. It collects all that bile and then concentrates it, kind of like making a strong coffee. It makes it way more powerful. So then, when you eat something with fat in it, bam! The gallbladder gives a little squeeze and releases this super concentrated bile to help you break it all down. But sometimes, that process goes wrong. And that's how a gallstone is born. First, the bile can get way too concentrated with stuff like cholesterol, and it turns into this thick, sludgy mess. Then, that sludge starts to harden up into these tiny little crystals. And over time, those crystals start to clump together, and boom, you've got gallstones.
Okay, so that all leads us to the big question, doesn't it? What can we actually eat to keep our gallbladder healthy and stop this whole process from even starting? Let's get into the good stuff, the practical advice.
All right, let's kick things off with the foods that help. Think of this as building your very own gallstone-proof diet. You're basically creating a nutritional shield for your gallbladder.
First up, and this is a big one, load up your plate with colorful fruits and veggies. I mean, all of them. They are packed with vitamins like C and B, plus calcium, all things your gallbladder loves. So think juicy citrus fruits like oranges and mosambi, bell peppers of all colors, tomatoes, and of course, leafy greens. These foods really help keep the chemistry of your bile in a healthy balance.
Speaking of leafy greens, I want to clear something up, because this is a huge myth. A lot of people think you should avoid spinach if you have gallbladder problems. That is just not true. In fact, the evidence points the other way. Leafy greens are actually really beneficial, so please, keep enjoying them.
Next on our list of gallbladder heroes is fiber. Seriously, a high-fiber diet is amazing for your entire digestive system, but it's especially great for your gallbladder. It helps prevent that bile from getting too sludgy and concentrated, which lowers your risk of getting stones. So bring on the legumes, the beans, the nuts like almonds and walnuts, seeds, and of course whole grains like oats and brown rice.
Okay, but what about dairy? Here's the deal. The key is the fat content. High-fat dairy can really put your gallbladder under stress. So the smart move is to go for low-fat options like low-fat milk and cheese. Or, hey, even better, try some plant-based alternatives. Almond milk, oat milk, soy milk. They're all fantastic choices. It's a really simple swap that can make a huge difference.
And let's not forget protein. Your body absolutely needs it, but the kind of protein you choose really matters. You want to focus on lean proteins. We're talking things like chicken, fish, beans, nuts, and tofu. These are all much kinder to your gallbladder. They give you all the nutrients you need without that risky high-fat baggage.
Okay, so we've covered all the good stuff to add to your diet. Now let's flip the script. It's time to talk about the foods that can hurt. For anyone who already has gallstones, these are the big red flags, the things that can trigger a really painful attack.
It really comes down to making some simple, smart swaps. For example, instead of refined carbs like white bread and pasta, go for whole grains. Instead of processed and deep-fried foods, choose those lean proteins we talked about. Swap out high-fat dairy for low-fat versions, and when you're craving something sweet, reach for a piece of fruit instead of those refined sugars you find in sweets like mithai or jalebi. See? Simple swaps.
So let's pinpoint the biggest troublemakers. We're talking about things made with refined flour, like samosas and mathri, and pretty much anything that's processed or deep-fried. Super high-fat sweets, like gulab jamun, are also on the list. Even certain vegetable oils, like peanut oil, can be a problem. Oh, and drinking a lot of alcohol is a major risk factor too. Knowing these specific triggers is half the battle.
And here's a really important tip. It's not just what you eat, but when you eat it. Remember how we said those attacks often happen at night? Well, eating those high-fat, refined trigger foods, especially late at night, dramatically increases your risk of waking up in pain. So try to have your last meal a bit earlier in the evening and definitely keep it on the lighter side.
Whew, okay. That was a lot of information, I know. So let's pull it all together into a simple, easy-to-remember game plan for your gallbladder.
And here it is, your ultimate cheat sheet. It could not be simpler. On one side, you've got everything you want to eat more of. Fruits and veggies, high-fiber foods, lean proteins, and low-fat dairy. On the other side, everything you want to eat less of. High-fat foods, refined carbs, processed junk, and refined sugars. That's it. Following this simple guide is honestly the most powerful thing you can do for your gallbladder health.
So if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. Your diet is everything. It's the key. Whether you're trying to prevent gallstones from ever showing up, or you're trying to manage the ones you have, what you eat is your most powerful tool. The little choices you make at every meal can have a massive impact. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.